Welcome back, everybody. We are live here at the Discipline to Gen studio. We got our boy Cody from Lock Hub pointing the wrong way in the background there. I'm here with Gino from BetOpenly.com. It is now NFL playoffs.
Gang.
I don't know about you, but
I'm all in.
we literally blinked and the whole season is over. The regular season passed by in a heartbeat. We have some really good playoff matchups. Before we dive into the game slate, got some housekeeping stuff. First and foremost, this show is partnered with BetOpenly.com. Check out the logo in the background now above Gino's head. BetOpenly now has player props against the house, as well as peer-to-peer contests, better lines and odds on straight bets and parlays.
And we're adding bet with friends. No juice whatsoever. Maddie hates me for it. But it's going to be sick. That'll be live this week.
Too generous. I
told him to
keep the 1% because nobody cares about paying the 1%. But he said he wants to allow you to bet with your friends peer-to-peer for free. So now you have no excuse.
No excuse. We're removing it all.
Yeah,
no one can compete with me. That's why I'm doing it.
There's no point of shaking on a deal with a friend and Venmo after the game. When your boy goes dark after the game, doesn't send the Venmo, remember you should have used BetOpenly for that. So last but not least, this is on YouTube after the fact. You can scroll through the chapters at the bottom of the episode, and you can see every single game and our breakdown of each and every game. So let's dive into it. Before we get into each and every game, I want to ask Gino how he's feeling because preseason, we gave our Super Bowl matchups. Now, both of our matchups are live. They're both in the playoffs, both of our teams. However, Gino probably feels a little more confident than I do, if I'm being honest. Gino, what was your preseason Super Bowl prediction?
I said the Niners are beating the Cowboys in the NFC ship, and then they're beating Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. So I got Niners beating the Bills in the Super Bowl.
So Gino, Niners over Bills. My preseason prediction, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are a 4-point dog on the road, and the Eagles are favored, but it feels like they're a dog the way they've been playing. It's a very close spread, and they're on the road when they were 10-1 just weeks ago and looked like they were going to win the division easily. So,
are we sliding out to that game?
We're going to be in Tampa. We're leaving Monday morning. We'll be there till Tuesday or Wednesday. We're going to see the game there Monday night. So if you guys are in the Tampa area, make sure to hit us up. We'll be at the Hard Rock at Tampa Bay. So Brad, if you can put the futures on the screen here. Next, we're going to go over the future lines and odds right now for every team that is in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. So Gino's Niners are the favorite, plus 220, Ravens plus 320, Bills plus 650, Cowboys plus 750, Chiefs plus 1,000. My Eagles 17-1.
Kind of dirty on your Eagles. I actually think there's some value there.
I think that number's better than preseason, and they're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but they're on the road, so I think that's obviously why. Dolphins 17-1, Browns 30-1. Rams 50-1, Texans 70-1, Bucks 95-1, Packers 100-1, and the Steelers. If you want to light your money on fire, go ahead, bet the Pittsburgh Steelers at plus 130,000. Am I even reading that right?
I don't even know how I can't do the math in my head. Was that 100 wins, 13 bands?
130-1 for the Steelers. Yeah. So comment right now in the chat, guys, who you would buy today. Who's your value spot right now, Gino? I know you think your Niners are going to win it, but I doubt you're betting that at plus 220. So, I got a best value spot as of right now. If you had $1,000 to put on one team, who is it?
So, one, I think the entire AFC is up for grabs. I know everyone thinks Baltimore is a lock. I get it. But the entire AFC is up for grabs. Don't forget about Baltimore's history. So, looking at that number, Dolphins at 17-1 isn't bad, guys. It's really not.
Offenses look like shit. If they win that game at Kansas City, they are live for a run.
And Browns, these Browns are filthy. Oh my God. But if I had to give you one value play, which again, it's value play, these Rams are a little bit under the radar, and they scare me because they know my Niners. So they're under the radar. They scare me because they know my Niners. I really want Detroit to win this game, but I think the Rams are one of the sharpest plays this weekend. I don't even like it. I haven't given that play out yet.
Yeah.
But I show it as one of the sharpest plays, which is just heartbreaking, man. Detroit's waited so long. These dudes need to win. I want the state of Michigan and the city of Detroit to get a W, but sadly, Sharps are all over the Rams.
Good comment here from Cody. Everybody's taking the Rams, though. Kind of scary. Nobody's taking the Lions. So we'll dive into that here when we break down that slate, but definitely an interesting comment. So let's go ahead and pull up the game slate here. Let's see.
I think people, if Philly makes a run, I think people are going to be like, damn, I could have got him at 17-1. That's crazy.
You already know I'm heading to the counter to put that one in. All right, let's dive into it. We got Wild Card Saturday. This is the first game of the postseason. It is a 4:30 p.m. Eastern game. Cleveland is traveling to Houston. I'm still absolutely sick that Houston won that game at Indianapolis. I got my head slapped at the Hard Rock from that game. I couldn't believe that running back dropped that fucking catch. I feel bad. You know, I feel bad for him because the coaching staff are scumbags, bro.
Shitty play call.
This player doesn't play the entire game, and you throw him in on 4th and 1 to make a potential game-winning catch.
And I blame the quarterback. That ball was thrown like
my boy
behind,
Gardner
off
Minshew.
balance.
So let's be clear. It was a catchable ball, but it wasn't a good ball.
Terrible ball.
You know, so the Texans. We're moving on. The Texans
run the ball.
The Texans sneak in. They win the division because of that play. And right now, they are a 2.5-point home dog against the Cleveland Browns.
I'm going to bring up some pain to Maddie.
Yeah.
Prior to that drop, guys, their soft-ass running backs ran out of bounds instead of taking contact where they could have got that first down. There were 2 different plays in a row before that where dudes gave up an extra yard or 2 to go out of bounds. They could have got the first one.
It was Jonathan Taylor.
It was soft.
2 plays in a row. He runs out of bounds instead of putting his head down. And the craziest part about it is it's not like they needed. They had this. They should have stayed in bounds.
Yeah, we had a bunch of time.
So it's like you have multiple reasons to put your head down and stay in bounds. You need the yards and you need to keep the clock running. So it is what it is. We're moving on. This is a great matchup. The over/under is 44.5. The Texans are a small home dog here. 72% of the early money is on Cleveland. Actually, 72% of the tickets are on Cleveland, a little bit more of the money. So everyone is betting Cleveland here, which surprised me because CJ Stroud and the Texans, to me, I thought were a trendy underdog, right? CJ Stroud looks really, really good. He's confident. He's playing well. He's seeing the field well. So I was surprised that this wasn't a closer split, if we're being honest. I thought it would have been a 50-50 ticket split. Now, some things to look at here. In my opinion, every trend and every data point points to the Browns in this game. I'll tell you why. And I'm not saying that's my pick. Browns 4-1 straight up in their last 5 against Houston. Browns 2-6 however, Browns are 2-6-1 against the spread in their last 9 on the road. So they haven't been good on the road. Joe Flacco, though, I think one of the best postseason quarterbacks of all time relative to how good he is on an average, regular season.
Like he steps up.
He's elite in the postseason. He right now 7 road playoff wins in his career, 5-0 in the wild card round, 4-0 on the road. And you ready for this? On the contrary here, first-time quarterbacks in the playoffs only cover at a 38% rate. So that's not first-time rookie quarterbacks. That's just first-time quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that are debuting in the playoffs only cover at a 38% rate. You compound that with the fact that this is literally a rookie here. Now, he is at home.
And he is the rookie of the year.
Yeah. The over is hit 9 of the Browns' last 9 on the road. I know, Gino, that's music to his ears. I have a feeling.
That's my play, guys.
Here's the crazy part, because everything points to the Browns, right? However, the last time the Browns were an NFL playoff game favorite, take a guess. What year?
1978.
1995 versus the New England Patriots, right? So let's move over to the Texans now. Here's some data that backs up the Texans here. In the last 30 wild card games, underdogs are 20-10 straight up. That's straight up. That's 66% of the time the dog is winning outright in the wild card games. That's since 2017.
Oh man.
7-3 straight up in their last 10 for the Texans. The Texans are also 5-3 in their last 8 when they've played the Browns at home. Now, the Texans, though, 8-17 straight up in their last 25 as an underdog. So I think about half of those games, a little over half of those games are with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans are the first rookie QB coach duo to make the playoffs since Andrew Luck in 2012. Damn. Now, teams that make the playoffs with a rookie QB and a first-year head coach since the merger, literally just Actually, I don't even have the numbers before Andrew Luck and Chuck Pagano,
Yeah.
but it's not that many. Like it doesn't happen that often, right? Since 1990, rookie quarterbacks 11-18 straight up in the playoffs, 4-11 straight up over the last decade. They're also 5-7-1 ATS on Wildcard weekend. Rookies to throw for 3,000 plus yards, 23 in total. Here's the crazy part: one rookie quarterback has won a playoff game that's done that. Who's your guess? He had a great team around him, a great coach.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Wow, I'm not good at. I'm terrible.
Here's the way I look at this game.
Trivia.
Everything to me points to the Browns. However, in my heart, I want to bet CJ Stroud at home. I'm getting rookie Russell Wilson vibes from him. However, here's what I'll say: that Seattle team was just more loaded.
They're stacked
on defense.
They ran better,
especially, and offense was probably similar. But what do you think about this game?
They had beast mode, Marshawn Lynch on.
They were loaded, so it's but Russell Wilson balled out, young, and I'm getting those vibes from CJ Stroud. He's seeing the field well. He looks confident. But this is the number 1 ranked defense.
I get it. So I know what y'all want. You want to know who's going to win the game, but guys, that's not my bet. This is actually my biggest bet of the weekend. It's actually over 44.5 in this game. I think this is going to be. I think this easily is going to be a 23-24, 23-27 type game. It's my biggest bet I've given out so far of the playoffs. It's the over in this game. If you made me bet a team, so I'm going to be clear here. Let's call my play of the weekend 2 units. I'm going to go a half a unit on Houston money line. I'm going to go back old school, home dog in prime time, fading the public. All the data points to the fact that, hey, I see this as a 50-50 game. Sincerely, I think it's 50-50. And you're going to get me, what are we seeing? Plus 134.
Yeah.
If I got 45% chance of winning, I'm severely in the green, even 40%. So, but my biggest bet over 44. If you made me bet the game, throw it in a money line parlay, it's Houston.
Yeah. So that over, I'm with you, but man, that 44.5 key number, like
I love it. I love it because these are 2 defensive-minded teams and coaches and a rookie QB. I don't know if y'all saw how bad the Houston offense did against the Colts. They made the Colts defense look good. So
the second half, they played really poorly.
Yeah. And honestly, if you looked at that first half, dude, they had that 75-yard pass that made me all nervous. My biggest bet last weekend for 3 bands was the under first half in that game, that won.
Yeah.
I got nervous, man. It was 3-0 after 8 minutes. It was great. And then CJ Stroud comes in and throws a 75-yard yak. So yeah. I really like this over because the world sees these as defensive-minded coaches and teams. They don't know where the offense is going to come from. And I genuinely believe 23-27 Houston is where this one lands.
All right, so last trend I got to throw at you.
Please.
CJ Stroud, the 4th rookie quarterback to ever face the number 1 defense in the playoffs.
Oh,
out of those 3 games, what do you think the record or their win-loss record was?
0-3
straight up. So CJ Stroud would make history. He would be the first rookie quarterback in NFL history to beat a number 1 ranked defense in the NFL. Now I wonder how many of those games were or at home.
That's a good point. They probably were 10-point dogs,
right.
But let me be clear for anyone listening, guys. I don't want to make you lose your money. I'm betting this over. I'm hammering this over. I'll have 2 units on this over. Degenerate me might be sprinkling a half a unit on the money line in a parlay just to make it cute and cheer for my old D'Amico Ryan Niners coach.
Yeah,
it ain't an official play, guys. I'm just trying to give you what you want to hear.
And what do you think's going to happen to that total here? You think it's going to stay put? We got it.
I think it's staying
3 days here.
I think it's staying put because the public's on the under and the sharps are on the over.
Yeah.
I've looked deep at this. This is one of the highest graded overs I've seen.
Final score prediction. Go.
23-27 Houston.
So 50 points.
Yeah.
All right. So what are your thoughts on a teaser? You take Texans plus 8.5 over 38.5.
Yeah.
That's a dinner.
This is a Wong teaser all day, dude. Texan checks the box for Wong teasers. Guys, they can go as high as over under 46.5, I think the number is.
Yeah.
So it's under that number, which you want. Points are more valuable, and 2.5 is a freaking great number. It's arguably the best number. We hit it on who did we hit it on last week? They won outright. Maybe it was New Orleans. I think it was New Orleans. But yeah, I would say Houston in a teasers. Also a dirty pick. I just like the over so much better that I don't want money everywhere. I just want to be cheering for points.
I like it. All right, let's move on here. My final answer is I don't know what the hell I'm doing on a team in that game. I am gonna ride with Gino on that over.
Jeez.
I'm definitely gonna ride with him on that over. So
Super
all right,
decent.
let's move on here. My Super Bowl prediction team preseason, the Miami Dolphins are a 4.5-point dog at Kansas City. I think I've seen that number at 4 in some books. Another over under 44.5 here, same exact number as the first game. Now this is the Saturday. This is a Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern game here, right? It's the back-to-back right after the Cleveland game.
It's 8:00 night. It'll be
So-
fun, dude. Good weekend we got.
Yeah. So let's address the elephant in the room of this game. The freezing cold weather. Freezing cold. Have you heard?
Yeah, so
It's supposed to be below 0.
like minus
feel.
6.
It's supposed to feel.
-7, -6,
So-
-7.
So something crazy like that. You ready for this? The Dolphins in cold temperature games under 50 degrees, 15-42 straight up.
Oh,
That's 26% of the time they win in cold ass games in the last 20 years. 2-19 in their last 21.
oh no.
Ready for this? Drop another 10 degrees. 8-19 straight up, 30%. So not much of a difference the last 20 years. So we take this a step further. That's just the Dolphins. Remember, Tua hasn't been there that long.
Bama gets cold.
Let's go look at Tua. Coldest starts in NFL and college both. 29 degrees, 32-29 loss to the Bills. 36 degrees, 56-26 loss to the Bills. 37 degrees, 34-3 loss on January 2nd, 2022 to the Titans. Not to mention, Tua is now 2-9 straight up and 3-7-1 against the spread on road or neutral sites versus winning teams. He's failing to cover the spread on average by 11.8 points per game. So everything I just read there it completely fades the Miami Dolphins in this spot. Now, with all of that said, let's look at this weekend. And another stat against Tua. You ready for this? We already talked about this in the first game because Tua is not a rookie, but he is a rookie in the postseason. Quarterbacks making their first playoff start versus QBs who have playoff experience. And Patrick Mahomes has a lot of that. 17-35-1 against the spread. 32% of the time they're winning. 17-36 straight up since 2002. Chiefs, on the other hand, they're winning. They've won 76% of their games as a favorite in their last 29. That's a 22-7 record. When they're favored, they typically win. Dolphins 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 on the road. The over is hitting 12 of the Dolphins' last 16 on the road. Where are you putting your money in this game?
I am throwing major shade at Kansas City. I cannot believe these Chiefs are 11-6. They are arguably the worst 11-6 team I've ever seen. I just can't. There's nothing good about their offense. Miami's defense is a little underrated. They're getting back Waddle. I believe Miami was the proper play, even though I lost that bet over in England, or was it Germany? Wherever they went when they played them over there. That fumble by Tyreek at the end of the half killed that game, and they still almost came back.
Yep.
I'm Miami money line every which way. Miami money line, Miami money line, Miami money line. Just one unit. It'll be half as much on the line as I have on that over in the other game.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I'm reading the public money's pouring in on this under. I'm not going to bet 2 overs. That would be so square. I just can't get myself to bet this under, even though it seems so obvious. So, man, do I want to bet that under.
Yeah,
I think it's like 23-17 type game, Miami.
I love the under here, bro. I'll tell you one thing. I love this 44 number a hell of a lot more than the Houston game as far as taking the under.
Yeah.
What have we said all year about Kansas City? Their defense, I think, is the best in the Patrick Mahomes era.
Dude, people hated on us when we said they were a top 2 defense.
And what have we said about their offense? They don't have explosive players.
Non-existent.
Since Tyreek Hill has left, there's no explosiveness.
Nothing, dude.
Travis Kelce is the closest thing you have to an explosive player at this point. I mean, that's at least consistent and can catch the ball and not drop the damn ball. So I don't know how you could hate this under freezing cold weather. I get it feels a little square. 44.5 is such a good number.
I was actually
24-20 goes under.
Yeah. I was impressed with the Dolphins defense against Buffalo too. I know those are turnovers and there could have been a lot more points, but they caused them. And I just hate how much money's coming in on this under. Maybe it's being held up by the public betting the over. I'll have to dig deeper. I just like Miami money line so much better. Guys, dude, plus 220 is insane in a coin flip game. This is a coin flip game. Over in England was a coin flip game. Or again, England, Germany, I forget which one. Plus 220 is insane. Everyone just sees these Chiefs. They're the Super Bowl defending champions. They're 11-6.
How much stock do you think goes into the cold weather? Because it's
a lot.
It's everything. Like, is this a 3-point spread if it's warm in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say? Because 4.5 here,
without a doubt.
I mean, and then I think a lot of it is just how bad the Dolphins. It's kind of like the Eagles game, right? Like the Dolphins have looked bad late in the season, like the Eagles have.
They have looked bad, and they didn't do a lot second half.
What have the Chiefs really done?
The Bills. They did nothing the second half. But dude, they're getting Waddle back. Tyreek looked a little off. He looked frustrated. You know, the team, dude, they have a run game. Miami has a run game that a lot of people don't talk about because there's so much fireworks in the air.
They're gonna have I
think Miami's going to be able to use this run game and compete with Kansas City. I genuinely, I think this spread should be Chiefs -2, and you're giving me 4.5. Y'all want to be a little conservative, take the points, but I can't get away from plus 220. Dude, you throw in plus 220 in a parlay with the Houston money line plus 136, guys, you're getting freaking 7x.
Yeah. Yeah, so my official plays in this game, I'm definitely on the under as my bigger bet. I like the points. Kansas City finds ways to win games.
Sure.
But if we're going to sit here and say they're not explosive, it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't see how you can't like the 4.5 here. I see like a 23-20 or like a 2017 type of final one way or the other. So I do like the 4.5 here. I do like the under. I don't know if with the whole cold weather thing, I just don't think it's going to stop people from taking Miami.
No, you know what the interesting thing? So I looked really closely into that cold weather stat.
Yeah.
A lot of the recent losses are Miami going into Buffalo, which, dude, Buffalo's been good, man, for 3-4 years. Miami wasn't as good. So it's not that I write off the data. I just was like, I'm going to buy a little low on that because, dude, Buffalo's not an easy place to go into. And Miami, you know, had to go into Buffalo once a year. And that was a lot of the 11, like they lost 7 of the last 11 or 9 of the last 11.
Yeah.
And I looked and most of them were division rival at Buffalo, really good Buffalo team versus a not so good Miami team the last 5 years.
For sure. All right, well, let's move on here. It looks like definitively we both lean the under there, and we're both on the Miami side, whether it's the points or the spread. We're starting to lean towards Miami on that one. So let's move on here. I believe this is the biggest spread of the postseason here.
Without a doubt.
Which I think, you know, it deserves to be. This Pittsburgh Steelers team squeaked into the playoffs. They didn't look good against a Baltimore Ravens team that really didn't give a shit about that game and rested a lot of players. They're a 10-point dog here at Buffalo. Plus 495 on betoplay.com if you aren't feeling frisky. 5-1. Josh Allen, will he choke in the playoffs? Maybe, but probably not against Pittsburgh. This over-under, 36.5 here. Now, 85% of the tickets on Buffalo. A little bit more of the money on Pittsburgh, though. I'm seeing 65%.
That's crazy.
Najee Harris, questionable. Here's the biggest factor of the game. TJ Watt is out with the MCL injury.
That breaks my heart.
Crazy, man. You hate to see that. Like, TJ Watt is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
The game was lost. What the fuck was he doing in?
I don't get it, bro. But like, you hate to see that because he's just the type of guy that
he
plays his heart out every game, and you want to see him in the postseason. So he has been ruled out. Here's the most telling stat: the Steelers 18-9 straight up with TJ Watt, 1-6 without him.
Oh,
that is pretty tough right there. The under is hitting 7 of the Steelers' last 9 on the road. The Steelers are 16-8 ATS in their last 24. Here's something crazy. Ready? If Pittsburgh can beat Buffalo as a 10-point dog, it would be the biggest playoff upset since the Titans plus 10 over the Ravens in 2020. Now, let's say this number surpasses 10.5, 11, which I think it could. It would be the biggest since the Giants upset win over the Patriots in 2008 when they were 12.5-point dog. Either way, a Steelers win would be Pittsburgh's biggest playoff upset in history. It's pretty rare you see a Pittsburgh Steelers team getting double digits in the postseason. So one more angle here. Mike Tomlin road unders 83-61-1 as a coach of the Steelers. Best of any coach in the last 20 years. So the Steelers on the road, it's usually an auto under, but this is a low number here. Bills, on the other hand, 19-4 in their last 23 games at home. Even better than the Chiefs straight up at home. They've been very, very good. Josh Allen, though, lost 7 consecutive games against the spread as a double-digit favorite. dating back to October of 2022. So he has been really bad covering double-digit spreads in his career. His last cover as a double-digit favorite, a 38-3 win at home versus the Steelers as 14-point favorites. Bills, 10-point favorite here. What are you doing with this game?
So I want people to know this. The data guys can attack me all they want. I actually think Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and I know that's not that crazy of a statement to make, but he finds ways to win without talent around him. I think he's better than Bill Belichick, and I mean that. That's going to piss people off. We saw what Belichick did this year without talent. He needs talent. Tomlin gets by without it. That said, I don't think he's going to be able to work his magic here. I actually don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be able to score any points in this game. I'm buying Buffalo's defense really heavy here. I really like the Pitt team total under. I really like Josh Allen rushing yards over. I'm really unimpressed with Buffalo Bills' run game, but their defense, I don't think Pitt has a shot in hell of winning this game. You could sell me on the 10, but my best bets in this game are Pitt's team total under, Josh Allen's rush yards over. And I do think Buffalo finds a way to put up points. So I really don't like the plus 10. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo wins this game 21-10.
I was going to say, like, this is one of the rare scenarios where, like, I would consider backing a large favorite and the under.
I know, and you don't want to do that. You give yourself a small window.
You kill yourself.
Yeah, you kill yourself.
But like, if the Steelers score 3 to 7 points, you're pretty live there.
Yeah, I don't think Pitt cracks 10. I think they get 10 points. I like Josh Allen's rush yards a lot. I'm not impressed with Buffalo's run game. I think he's going to check down a lot with his legs. I just don't. I don't like giving up 10, but I would take the -10, guys. That's my official play.
The Steelers team total 12.5. The overs -104, under -118. Obviously, those numbers are much better on Bet Openly.
Yeah.
The Bills team total over under 23.5, which I think is. I could literally see like 23-7, like something like that. Like I just feel like it's going to be that type of ugly game where maybe the Bills get up big in the first half and then coast in the second. Maybe the Steelers have some like turnover on downs late in the game where no points come out of it. I just think, is this another game you would consider a teaser, or is it too scary? Because
it's not scary. It's not Wong, it's not sharp, but
right.
Dude, to gamble Buffalo -3, -4 all day
and under 42.
Pitt ain't gonna score nothing. Buffalo's gonna put up points. For those people that love the Pitt +10, just the Tomlin +10, we don't know what Pitt is without offense, and we don't know what Pitt is without TJ Watt.
Yeah,
you might feel good for the first half, but dude, Buffalo should pull away from this game. 23-10, guys, is where my heart's standing at. 23-10 Buffalo.
Yeah. This is the type of game that if you bet that under, you're going to be sweating that the Bills don't put it up on their own.
If Buffalo stops turning it over in the red zone,
and if the Bills just roll at home. I mean, look, this is literally a game where it's like if you're backing the Steelers, it's because you just 100% believe in Mike Tomlin to cover the number. But gun to my head, I take Buffalo -10.
Yep.
And the under.
Fair enough.
We'll see if I actually put that on my card or not.
And I'm officially on Buffalo. I really have no lean on that over-under. I think Buffalo, if they don't turn the ball over in the red zone, they could put up, 27 themselves. So it scares me.
Yeah. All right, moving on. The Green Bay Packers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Nice little 7.5-point spread here. Packers +365 on the money line if you think Dallas is going to do what they do best, and that is choke in the postseason. Over under 50.5. Big shocker. 73% of the tickets are on Dallas here. However, more of the early money is actually on Green Bay. Now, Jair Alexander is questionable. AJ Dillon questionable. Romeo Doubs questionable. Aaron Jones questionable. Christian Watkins questionable. How lucky are the Cowboys getting with all these injuries? However, the Cowboys are a little bit banged up too. Tyler Smith questionable. Stephon Gilmore questionable. So now, a Packers win in Dallas would be Green Bay's second biggest playoff upset since 1960, and that's behind their win in San Francisco in 1996. The biggest Packers playoff upsets +10 against the 49ers, that was in 96, and then plus 5.5 in 2017.
Those motherfuckers ruined my childhood. These two teams, both these teams. I hope they knock each other's heads off.
Yeah. So again, going back to that stat we talked about in 2 of the games already, quarterbacks making their first playoff start versus quarterbacks who have playoff experience. 17, 35, and 1 against the spread, 17 and 36 straight up since 2002. So that obviously applies to Jordan Love here, who's facing Dak Prescott, who has minimal playoff experience, I guess. He has 6 games, but I think he's 1-5 in those games, by the way. So Cowboys 7-2 ATS in their last 9 at home. The over is hitting 10 of their last 13 at home. Cowboys 16-0 straight up in their last 16 games at home. However, the playoffs, a different story. Since 1997, the Cowboys are 3-12-1 against the spread in the playoffs. Dak Prescott, ready for this? Out of 88 playoff quarterbacks, he is the 85th worst quarterback in the postseason against the spread. He's 1-5 ATS. Cowboys, and here's another stat. Cowboys are coming off of a big win, and under McCarthy, Dallas is 6-12 against the spread after a blowout win of 20 points or more, including 3-11 against the spread in their last 14. The last 2 seasons, Dallas is 5-11 ATS after winning by double digits. So we know Dak is bad in the postseason. We know McCarthy hasn't been there forever. McCarthy in his career, straight up 167 and 102. And then on the home road, 98-35-2 straight up. So McCarthy in his playoffs, though, right? So he has a great win-loss record in the regular season. In the playoffs, he's 11-10 straight up. So you're talking Dak Prescott, phenomenal regular season, bottom percentile in the playoffs. Mike McCarthy as a coach, phenomenal in the regular season, average in the playoffs. So when you put those things together, and it's a Jerry Jones-led organization, do you take a stab here on the Packers money line, or can you not do it?
I'm not going to tell anyone that doesn't know. Cowboys are kind of nice at home. They're a different team on the road. I think Green Bay pulled a tough card here.
Especially with the injuries.
Yeah, they're injured. I don't know if their offense is going to be as good as they've been the last couple of weeks versus this Dallas defense. This Dallas defense is fast at home. It's square, but I'm on Dallas here. I don't think there's anything getting in the way of a Dallas win. I wouldn't do a Wong teaser on this. The total's too high. So I know you all want to take Dallas minus 1.5. I'm not going to be able to stop you, so do your thing. I think Dallas wins. I don't like the 7.5. I don't like the 7.5 either way. I would not be shocked if Dallas is up 13, 10 points, and Green Bay makes it a 1-score game at the very end and covers, backdoors it. I think Love is more efficient of a quarterback than people give him credit for. He's actually
That's a great comment right there. He threw the second most touchdowns in the NFL this year.
Dude,
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's had a really quiet, amazing season. They just pulled a really tough card in Dallas at home. Guys, look at this Dallas record at home.
The postseason is different, bro.
No, I know. They're 8-0. But so, like, if you just, again, you can look at the players, you can look at the teams, you can look at whatever you want. Green Bay's 4-5 on the road this year. Dallas is 8-0 at home. So
and
that's
Green Bay
huge difference.
Green Bay has won their last 2 road games.
Yeah.
At Minnesota by 23, and then at Carolina by 3. So that one isn't really
Carolina and Minnesota backup quarterback. The Dobbs era ended as quick as it started. So
yeah.
Again, guys, I'm showing Green Bay some love as much as I usually hate on Green Bay and Dallas. They're playing each other. They drew a really tough card here going into Dallas, and you're getting Dallas. You can get Dallas semi-cheap in that, dude, people have no love for Dak or the Cowboys in the playoffs the last 3 or 4 years. My Niners have set them home, 2 of them. I just don't see a way Dallas loses this game. I really do not.
Yeah, to me, this isn't the game Dallas chooks. I do like the 7.5, though. I mean, the numbers are as clear as day. They are not good at covering. Dak is not good at covering the spread in the postseason. So this, to me, is a classic 27-23 Cowboys game where they make it more interesting than it should be. They win the game outright, but they don't cover the 7.5. I'm staying away from the total.
Makes sense. And if you made me lean one way, I would go a little bit on this the under 50.5. I think the Dallas defense is the story of this game. What they were able to do to Love, who had an amazing season. And damn, is this Dallas defense the best defense in the league when they're home? And I actually think that answer might be yes. At home, which is not good. They can't get to the Super Bowl being home the whole time. So,
all right, moving on here. We shall see what happens. Let's see. All right, this is a really good storyline here. We have the Detroit Lions hosting the LA Rams. It is a 3-point spread, the over-under 51.5 here. So the way I look at this game, first of all, 75% of the tickets are on the Rams here. So the Rams are kind of a trendy underdog,
they're
right?
trendy as fuck.
They have the Super Bowl experience where they made that run and won. You know, it's Stafford, who is still looked at as, I think, an elite guy, like a top 5 to 7 guy in the league. And then I think no matter what Jared Goff does, he always has that stigma of like he's still not that guy. You know, no matter how well he plays, which he's had a very good season.
He's had a great season. People hate on dude. The kid was like second year when he made it to the Super Bowl.
He played very well. So some injuries. Rams, Tyler Higbee questionable. For the Lions, Sam Laporta questionable. Rams 5-11 in their last 16 on the road. Historically, Stafford has struggled as an underdog. He's 29-74 straight up in his career as a dog, including 1-9 in his last 10. A $100 better, if you blindly bet on Stafford as a dog, you're down $2,646 in the last 20 years. Now, obviously, a lot of that he was playing on a really bad organization and team. So, as an underdog in night games, we're going very specific here. Stafford is 4-17 straight up, 7-13-1 against the spread. Detroit Lions, on the other hand, 10-3 against the spread in their last 13 games at home. The over is hit in 7 of the Lions' last 8 as a favorite. The last NFL playoff game as a favorite for the Lions was 1995 against the Eagles. So this is history here. This game will be played indoors, which is phenomenal for Jared Goff. His numbers are drastically different. Indoor, he's 35-16 against the spread. Outdoor, he's 34-35-2 against the spread. Most profitable quarterback against the spread since 2022, Jared Goff, 24-10 against the spread. Since 2021,
Goff's a money printer?
He's a money printer. So again, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, he's Jared Goff. No one gives him the respect, but the numbers are the numbers. He's playing well. He covers spreads. I don't know how you don't take Detroit here. That's my first lean. I love Detroit in this spot. I kind of look at the Rams as the trendy underdog. I think the lines have been up and down, but I think it's clear that when they're at home, they're indoors. When things are going well, they can crush it. And I think I think this is a game where the number is just wrong. Like, I think it should be 4.5, 5. And that part of that is what makes me think the game's fishy, though. What are your thoughts?
It's very fishy. I'm one of the most hard-headed bettors you'll ever meet. The Rams are officially a syndicate play. For y'all that don't know what the syndicate is, it's just an organized group of people that bet macro numbers and they win, dude. They get cut off everywhere they go. They're a gang. So, and this is one of the ones where I think they got it wrong. They don't win 100% of the time, guys. They literally win like 57, 58% of the time. They're not on Rams money line. They're on Rams plus 3.5 when it opened. So they're the reason why it's sitting down at 3. I'm with Maddie here. I think Detroit started off this season hot. They cooled off. They're not as good anymore as their 12-5 record. This is a weird postseason, guys. There are teams that have amazing records and they're not that good. I mean that. I know it sounds fucking crazy to say. And the Lions are one of those teams. I just think the Lions drew the perfect card here. If Green Bay was going into Lions, I'd probably be on Green Bay in this situation. I think the Rams have heated up at the end of the year. Their pass game is nasty. You got Stafford and them indoors on turf. In my head, I just think Detroit wins this game, but I can't go against the syndicate, so I'm stuck. What do you like on this over-under?
I lean the over, but I'll probably stay away. I like Detroit money line as a parlay piece. If you're putting in a wild card weekend parlay, I think Detroit money line's a great spot. I just think they've done so much this season to go one and done at home. I don't see that.
I like that.
The only thing I hate is how stubborn their head coach is. That drives me crazy, bro. He's aggressive to a flaw sometimes.
And so my largest bet of this game is going to be on this under 51.5. Yeah. I think the Detroit defense shows up. And I also think the Rams have a good defense. They always do. They're just quiet. So under 51.5, that number feels too high to me.
What was your thoughts on the Rams-Niners game last week? Like, what
Well-
was your thoughts on their performance? I mean, it didn't really matter.
They went down early, and we kind of didn't have we had our
Yeah.
wide receivers in, but we didn't have our quarterback in once.
Yeah.
They looked okay.
Yeah.
They didn't need the game though either.
Right.
It was kind of a worthless game. They didn't need it. They already locked up the playoffs. They might have
Yeah.
wanted to win for this to draw this card versus going into Dallas. That makes sense.
Right.
But yeah, I don't buy a lot into it. I'm with Maddie. Maybe it's just my sympathy. Detroit can't go one and done, guys.
I can't see it, man.
That would be heartbreaking.
I can't see it. I
But
think they roll
under.
at home.
Detroit's defense needs to show the fuck up here.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. The most important game of the week.
Ooh.
We will be in Tampa Bay for the game. Gino and I are going. Our guy Brad, our guy the Jen Dot, Hey Jive Picks. We will all be in Tampa. We're
The
leaving
gang's going out and we're getting drunk and we're betting on sports
and then we're hitting the tables at the Hard Rock.
with all our gambling winnings.
Yeah, so we're gonna be. A lot of us are gonna be on opposite sides in this game. So if only there was a good website for that. All right, we got the Eagles -3, the buy low spot of the weekend. If there's one team to buy low on, it's my Philadelphia Eagles. They have looked as bad as it gets, right? I mean, we haven't covered a game. We're 1-4-1 against their spread in the last 6 on the road. I mean, we've lost. Ready for this? This is a record. The Eagles have lost 6 consecutive games against the spread entering the playoffs. Their longest against the spread losing streak since 2012. The last time the Eagles had a longer ATS losing streak was in 1994. So we're the first team to lose 6 straight games against the spread entering the playoffs since 2002. Guess who that team was, Gino? That did that.
My Niners?
Actually, it was against the Niners. So never mind.
Okay.
But in that game, if we're looking at history, the last time we did lose 6 ATS going into the postseason, we won that wild card game 39-38 as a 3-point favorite. So a 3-point favorite is pretty crazy. So some things to look at in this game. Eagles 25-7 straight up in their last 32 as a favorite. The under is hitting 12 of the Bucks' last 18. Baker Mayfield 15, and the big question in this game, right? Can you trust Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield 15-25 against the spread at home in his career. That's 3-5 with the Bucks against the spread at home in his career. He's never finished a season above 500 ATS at home. He's ranked 117th out of 119 quarterbacks since he's entered the league. Baker's become the 5th QB to start week 1 for 3 different teams in consecutive years. The only other quarterback to do that is Brett Favre, and he's the only one that won a playoff game.
Oh,
So the question now is, there's really 2 things. You're betting on either of these teams for one of 2 reasons, right? You're betting on the Bucks because you think the Eagles are just finished, right? And you're betting on the Eagles because you either don't trust Baker or you're like, hey, these teams are now 0-0. The new season, it's the postseason. The Eagles are going to figure it out, right? Which one are you?
I think I'm buying these Eagles low, my dude. I'm not just doing that for my partner here. I'm being serious. If I look at the last 8 games, like he said, the last 10 games, Eagles are 2-6-2 against the spread. Tampa Bay 7-3. So you're selling Tampa Bay high. You're buying Philly low on the ATS. I genuinely, if you all told me week 1, I could get the Eagles -3 in Tampa on the playoffs, I'd say, are you kidding me? That's a steal.
Right.
Record, Eagles on the road are 5-4. Not great, but not bad. They've had a rough season. They drew some very tough teams.
Well.
And then I'm just talking about the record.
Right.
Tampa Bay's 4-4 at home. That's not a home field advantage.
Yeah.
They got nothing there. They're 4-4 with a soft division. These Eagles at -3 is cheap. It's square. It's my squarest play of the week. And I actually like the over in this game a lot. Over 43.5. I think Jalen and the Eagles break out. I think people are going to kick themselves in the ass for not paying the 17-1 on the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles win this game by 14 to 17 points.
So let me ask you a question.
Tampa Bay's outclassed here.
Let me ask you a question here. Is there a possible conspiracy theory that we looked like shit on purpose? We lost last week because we love this matchup. We want to play the Tampa Bay Bucks in Tampa because we knew we weren't winning the division. Dallas was winning at Washington. They were 14-point favorites.
Yeah.
We just wanted to play Tampa.
Now that
in general,
I agree. You don't want to go into Detroit.
We'd much rather go to Tampa. We're playing Baker fucking Mayfield, bro.
I get it.
Let's go to Tampa Bay. I think the defense is going to shine.
So
like our defenses look terrible.
Giving Matty a little bit on his conspiracy theory, I believe the Eagles wanted Tampa Bay over Detroit. Yes. I do not think the Eagles wanted to have to go through both potentially Dallas and the Niners at both to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah. This is a very hard tough path for them. Sure.
That's what I mean. That's why you're getting the 17-1. You know,
yeah,
all that
exactly.
math is baked in.
So I think Philly outclasses them in this game. I actually don't think this game's close. I think this is, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Philly covers or wins by more points than Buffalo wins by. I know that sounds crazy. I wouldn't shock me if Philly wins by 17.
I like it. All right, we're gonna knock out some DFS here. We're gonna bring our guy Trevor on. Let me see if I can remove this here. Struggling.
Trev up in the queue.
Brad, can you help me?
There we go.
There we go. There we go.
You guys hear me?
What's good, Trev?
Can you hear me?
And we have no volume, like normal.
Yep.
We're good. Trev, 1 sec. We'll be done in a second.
30 seconds, Trev.
Yeah.
Now we're good.
All right, you guys hear me now?
We got 5 minutes, bro, because we got everyone coming in for poker. So give us some locks.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys 2 long shots that I think are insanely mispriced. All right, so the first one is Kansas City Miami game. We're going with Raheem Mostert for 2 touchdowns. It's plus 1,000. Now we know
2 touchdowns for Mostert.
Is plus
1,000. Count me in.
10-1.
All right, so it's plus 1,000.
I love the under of the game, but I equally want to take that.
Listen, KC is 32nd last in the NFL in run stop rate this season. They are last in run stop rate, right? We know what the weather's going to be like there. This is a game where they're going to, like, McDaniel's going to scheme up Achane and Raheem, but Raheem is the touchdown back. He had 18 this year. Like, he's the guy. And that in this game, in this environment, there's no way that should be plus 1,000. Like, that's just completely grossly mispriced. So, and then our second one, I was in the waiting room. I can hear you guys talking about it. I'm on the same page with Philly, and this isn't because of Matty. This is a buy low spot. Gino said it best. If you said you could get the Eagles -3 in the first round of the playoffs at the beginning of the season, you would have blindly bet an obnoxious amount of units on it. So the misprice in this game is Jalen Hurts for 2 touchdowns is plus 550. He is their goal line back.
Plus 550?
It's plus 550. He's
oh
done
my
it
God.
4
Give me
times.
a better number than that for 2 tutties.
Yeah. And he's done it 4 times this year. And Tampa Bay is 28th in the NFL against touchdowns for quarterbacks rushing. So they give them up. When they get close, nobody else is getting it. It's going to Jalen. I think he scores a couple times. And again, just
I agree.
Egregiously
the Tampa Bay red zone defense is that tough that Jalen's going to hold the ball. Tush push. People be whining about the tush push all week. I got one question for you, Trev.
All right.
I think my biggest prop bet of the season is going to be Josh Allen rushing yards. I don't like Buffalo's rush game. And I actually think Pitt has a decent enough secondary that Allen's check down might be his legs.
And no TJ Watt, he can escape.
Yep, no TJ Watt. Like, Allen's 100%. Allen's rushing. He's running the ball. He's going. They're going to try to keep him from throwing interceptions. I think they're going to run it at.
That's what I'm saying. I think he'll check the ball down with his legs.
The only scary thing, if you're backing Josh Allen rushing yards, is if that game gets out of hand, he ain't running the ball.
Yeah, no, I just think he's afraid to. I think he's going to be afraid to turn the ball over early.
So Josh Allen rushing yards 38.5.
Right, he's not going to try to throw at Minka. They're going to run the ball. I think they're going to scheme it up where he's their back. I got a play that I love for that game, but we're saving that for everybody at DD. But I have a play in that game that I love.
I appreciate you, Trev. Dude, thanks for sharing this play. Dude, 10-1's nasty. For anyone chiming in, Trev gave you out a 10-1 moonshot. Repeat it, Trev, and we'll end this call.
All right. So Raheem Mostert, 2 touchdowns is plus 1,000 for Miami. And then, excuse me, Jalen Hurts, same 2 touchdowns plus 550. He's their goal line back. That game should not be plus 5. Fucking Maddie. Plus 550.
It's a parlay. NX plus 5X.
He's going to put the ticket out already. So
click Lolly Yang. Lolly, be clear.
I'm in, bro.
Lolly Yang, be clear. What bet will you take?
No, that was from 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was just
which one?
Just type in what bet you'll take. But Trev, thanks for coming on, brother.
Last question. CJ's thoughts on CJ Stroud this weekend in 30 seconds.
Oof. Tough. I love him. Tough spot though. Cleveland's D is for real, right? Like if he knocks this out with who he has healthy, and my issue isn't actually CJ. My issue is Houston's defense. I think Cleveland's going to shred him. I just think Cleveland has too many weapons versus Houston's there. But I love CJ Stroud. Anybody that knows me knows I'm a CJ Stroud fan. I'd love to see him ball out and upset Cleveland. I'd love it. I just don't think they have the defense to do it.
Agreed.
Later, my dudes.
All right, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Have a good night.
Later.
All right, boys. That is the end of the show. Good luck on your bets this weekend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go to betopenly.com. Make an account. Our full cards will probably be out on Twitter here in the next couple of days. If you want Gino's full card, he's up 80-some units in the past year off of 0.8 unit average bets. Go to disciplinethegens.com. Get his picks. It's $45 a month. It's as cheap as it gets in the industry. That number is going up in the upcoming month. We will see you guys this weekend. Good luck with your bets.
We're going to stack, my dudes. We don't lose playoffs.